What's an addiction that people often overlook? From r/AskReddit. News addiction. Outrage is an addiction. Some people seek it out, actively searching for a reason to hate their neighbors just so they can get their hit of dopamine. It feeds news addiction, tribalism, and eventually extremism. It's the source of so much violence, so many divided houses and ruined lives. But we do nothing to curb it. Shopping. I always laughed at the idea of video game addiction. It sounded so overblown until I met a guy who honestly defined it for me. We used to chat and hang out weekly. He quit his job and now just lives at home with his mom, mooching off her to sit in his room and play games for close to 16 hours a day. After refusing to hang out for long enough, I just gave up on him. Phone addiction, no explanation needed. When my depression is bad, I'd say sleep. It's a free, safe way to escape, but it ultimately feeds the depression, becoming a bad cycle. It doesn't sound that bad, but it's consuming. Edit. Some people are confused, so I'll clarify. It's not because of lack of rest. It's not the sleep itself, it's the dreaming, aka escape. A different reality that feels very real and isn't this one. Maybe I'm just not explaining it right, but yet. Work addiction. Most people will say they dislike working extra, but the responsibility you feel towards your coworkers and the purpose work gives your life can make you work more than you should. Source: addicted to work. Junk food. Sugar. Soda. I am addicted to these things and wish I can break that habit. Social media addiction. Self-isolating due to social anxiety. It's not an addiction, I know. But it gets me high knowing how lonely I am and there is nothing I can do about it. I am not overweight or unattractive, but I love beating myself up about how socially inept I am. I am addicted to feeling sorry about myself, even though I am relatively good looking and in shape. F***ck. Happy to know I am not alone. Caffeine. P***RN addictions. Doesn't seem blatantly harmful, but over the long term it can really affect you negatively. Edit. I didn't think this would blow up like it did, but I'm glad that so many of you recognize the damage P***RN does. And am super happy to see so many people conquer their addiction. Staying up late for no reason than because you're afraid to miss out on anything. Anything legal but bad for your longevity. Alcohol, sugar, and sugar derivatives. People really overlook the detrimental effects of sugar. It's the root of incredible varieties of medical conditions. Emotional abuse. Trauma bonds are f***ing real. Tribalism. People become indoctrinated and too engrossed to realize it. People become so addicted they choose to kill over sports, vehicle types, religion, politics, etc., and it's by design. People act less intelligent when they're a part of a group. Mob mentality. Edited because syntax/grammar police attacked my autofill. Proofread everything, kids. Skin picking, aka dermatillomania. It's so overlooked that our society has glorified it. We have a show called Dr. Pimple Popper. WTF. Food. The wine mom personality. Drinking that much wine. Only able to attend your kids' sporting events with a water bottle full of alcohol. Drinking every time there's a social event, even if you don't feel the need to. Drinking because your kid is crying. Drinking because you don't like your husband. Like honey, you're addicted. P***RN, and Thirst Trap Edition. Going on to social media, Reddit looking for P***RN and thirst traps. It really makes you think all of this is normal. Sure, some women want to be treated like that, maybe. But not all of them. Also, social media attention, like posting stuff that gets a reaction or DM. It's addictive cause people online seem to give you more attention than those in real life. Online shopping. Afterpay. Self-harm. I still get withdrawals, and if something scratches my arms in the right way I need to take a minute to gather myself. Weed. Gym addiction. It's the only thing keeping me sane these days. Started cause I wanted to gain muscles, now the thought of taking a prolonged rest is quite dreadful. Control. Social affirmation. Lots of people spend all their weekends, free time and money on looking cool, successful and or popular to others. Prescription drugs like benzos. I think they're getting better at not overprescribing them though. Looks or being ideal in general. Thanks to social media killing people's self-esteem and forcing them to chase in most cases unreachable goal of being picture perfect. Isolation. Being alone can be really addicting and make you lose a lot of friends and such. Shopping, or unhealthy accumulation of material goods. I think I'm addicted to reading novels one after another. Reading novels all the time like a form of escapism and can't bring myself to stop to be more productive in life. Gossip. If you grew up with a parent that would come home and talk about how exhausting / bad work was or annoying co-workers, it's likely you responded with the bad things / annoying people from your day. Well, eventually you start to equate gossip / talking bad about people as a way to form bonds. You may notice, or even do it yourself a lot, and I used to, that people will use it as a talking point to introduce themselves or get closer, and eventually they keep going on and on about people. Vaping. It is better than cigarettes, NGL, even nicotine addiction is often overlooked in a way. But how much better? I know people that don't look like smokers, but they vape like crazy. They don't see any negative health impacts and think it is not that bad. But I had one friend that after 3 years of vaping like a chimney got rampant lung infections out of nowhere. One in December, which he was like a zombie for the entire month. One 3 months later, and now he still hasn't stopped vaping. But now again he has a fever and a hard time breathing and is going to the doctor new week. Exercise. We say that exercise is good, and it is, but some people take it to an extreme which can negatively affect their health forever. Off the top of my head, I know it can cause infertility and osteoporosis. P*RN, sugar, social media, and conspiracy theories. Celebrities. You don't need to defend your favorite Kardashian or Jenner, because they don't know. Nor they care for your existence. Nail biting. Validation. I'm totally addicted to love. Everyone's saying the basic ones, but salt is an often overlooked addiction that has negative effects on health in the long run. Being constantly outraged about news, other people's opinions / beliefs, etc., then trying to stir up arguments with others. Using cell phones or the attitude around cell phones. Like when you go to school, just put your cell phone away and learn. When you go to work, just put your cell phone away and work. When you go to the movies, just put your cell phone away and watch the movie. When you at a gathering that requires communication of some type, just put your cell phone away and communicate. A lot of people use it as a shield to avoid things they fear. Video games. People nowadays spend so many hours a day playing video games. Addiction to work is not only overlooked but celebrated. You know who loves you working 80 to 90 HR weeks? Your bosses that rationalize withholding overtime pay. Nobody else thinks giving up your life to a factory or a semi-truck is a flex. Social media addiction. Way too many people want to be influencers and try to maintain a following to feel wanted and important. It's 10 times more cringe when those people pay companies for bot systems to like and follow them. Or they try to leverage their following to avoid having to buy something. P*RN. People embrace it because of recent times, but it's a genuinely dangerous rabbit hole to fall into, I would know. On top of it, you can't talk about it due to the stigma around it. Like, you don't just go to a fellow human being and admit you enjoy wanking too much. You'll be seen as a perv when you're just trying to get help. It sucks. Alcohol is often viewed as something festive or social, and so we don't realize its danger, both to ourselves and others. More and more, it's sugar. It's so omnipresent in our diets. I've never taken hard drugs, but I've gone days without any refined/processed sugar, and I've absolutely had withdrawal symptoms. Headaches, shaking, irritability, trouble sleeping. It's miserable. Statistics in sports or video games. I don't enjoy playing anymore. I'm after the statistics. I feel like the vast majority of us are attached to electronics at this point. I barely know what the real world is like anymore. Depression. Once you have had the depression long enough and have grown used to it, it's hard trying to live without it. But most people wouldn't consider it an addiction. Nasal spray. There are plenty of other much worse things I could shove up my nose. But still, I can't breathe through my nose without it, and I can't stand that it's like this. Someone already said it, but food addiction is a real thing. I think this body positivity and fat phobia *T is just making it worse. There is nothing wrong with being proud of yourself, but at some point, it becomes very unhealthy. My 600-pound life is a perfect example of what I mean. Or Nikocado avocado. Alcoholism. I'm serious. It's so much more rampant than people want to actually pay attention to, because that would mean having to take a look at themselves and the people in their own lives. When most drugs are painted in a negative and poor light, it pisses me off to no end that alcohol is still seen as not only socially acceptable, but normal. It's considered normal for adults to drink alcohol, but it's not normal for adults to do most other drugs and even smoke cigarettes nowadays. If you're holding a cigarette these days, people look at you like you're a social pariah and a monster. But if you're holding a beer, you might as well just be holding a glass of apple juice. And stupid *T like I'm a wine mom, and I drink wine in my yoga pants, etc. Nonsense like this, implying that these mothers need to be drunk in order to get through being a parent. Fathers drinking beer after beer at family barbecues while the kids are running around. There's absolutely nothing funny or cute about being an alcoholic, let alone an alcoholic parent. I don't drink alcohol at all, and I never have, but I've suffered with many alcoholics. I was just never interested in it, and as someone who doesn't drink, alcohol culture is infuriating because it creates so much addiction and destroys so many people's lives. Alcohol is a dangerous drug, and I'm so sick and tired of it being downplayed. Nose spray. Self-harm. Most people completely overlook that it's mostly a highly addictive vice, similar to drugs in a way. Alcoholism. I actually think it's the only addiction that you can die from while going through withdrawal. Sugar. Phone addiction is often overlooked. Trying to skip past the obvious ones mentioned, I'd say people's partners/relationships. That might sound confusing, but what I mean by it is people who refuse to do anything or go anywhere without their partner. They stop living their own life or having their own friends. They only have a shared friend group, do shared activities, everything must be done with them. Sometimes it works, but I've seen so many relationships fail because of it. It puts a lot of expectation and pressure on the relationship. No two people will always be 100% compatible, there will always be a difference of opinions on what to eat or what to watch or what to do. People often lose track of who they are and just become the relationship. Had two friends like this, they seemed so solid for a while, but when they fought they really fought. Then they made up just because they didn't know what to do with themselves away from each other. As you can imagine, they aren't still together, and that breakup was very messy. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you enjoyed. Keep the thread going in the comments section down below.